Hey guys, and welcome back to this week's video of the 52-week project. I know this one's been a little bit delayed in getting out. I've been super busy over the last week or so I do apologise for that. You may see a couple of 52-week videos in 1 week coming up, so I'm trying to catch up with all the weeks of video editing and everything that I have to do. So this week I did a photo shoot in LA and it was so good. I worked with a really great agency in LA and I managed to photograph 3 girls on the one day. So I was really super excited to do this. I was pretty excited to work with an LA agency because a lot of the agencies that they have in LA are full of really professional working models, experienced models, so I was quite excited to do that. The first girl that I shot on this particular day was Jiang, and I do have her Instagram listed down below. I just quickly want to address the situation with me introducing the models in a lot of videos. So I know there's been a few comments about like why don't I introduce some models and maybe others, and this is because of the fact that some of the girls are actually quite young and they could be between 13 or 14 if they're developing models. So I do unfortunately have rules that I have to abide by, like putting videos out with their names and their Instagram accounts, and a lot of the time I can't really do that unless they're over the age of 18, and I just prefer not to as well. So generally I will introduce a model if they are over the age of 18, and I'll put their Instagram in the description box below. In this case Jiang is over 18, so I am going to put her Instagram in the description box below and you guys can go check out her feed. She has recently moved to LA from Shanghai for some modelling work, so I was really excited to work with her. She's an experienced model and she's got some amazing work in her portfolio, so I was super pumped to work with her, and I just had a really good shoot overall with Jiang. And I think the day that we had was just beautiful and sunny. It was like a typical LA day, so I really wanted to get that kind of LA vibe into the photos, and really just walking around LA in some of the neighborhoods is really nice. A lot of the houses are really beautiful, they have a very distinct style about them, so we were just kind of happy to do the shoot on location and walk around and get some street style shots. So guys, we've got some behind the scenes from this particular shoot and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys enjoyed the behind the scenes. Now I'm going to show you guys the final edits of the images from the day and go through what photos I liked and what photos are going to be in my top 5 for the week, and then I will go on to say what I think I could have done better this week and what I think I did really well. So guys, these are my final edits for the week. I tried to use my 85 a little bit more this week. I don't know what it was, but for this particular shoot, I just felt like I needed to bring that particular lens out and start using it and really go back to sort of my roots with photography. And I used to use it a lot when I was starting out, and especially using wider apertures. And I sort of stopped doing that for a little while, I think, within my work. And I think for this shoot, because I just really was inspired by a lot of the streets in LA, and I just thought that for a portrait lens, the 85 would be best to use. So I tried to use that quite a bit within this shoot, and I'm going to show you guys the final edits now and my top 5 for the week. So this first photo is one of those photos that I felt within the shoot was a pretty photo, but not something that I was going to have in my top 5. And I did really try hard to get a lot of editorial looking photos throughout the shoot, although I was really also tempted to get those pretty photos, especially with the flowers, because it's hard not to. So I did get a few pretty portraits as well, although I was just really after some of those high fashion portraits. So unfortunately, this one's not going to be in my top 5, although I still like the shot. This is another photo that I feel like has that pretty element. Doesn't quite have the editorial look that I was going for, but I think it's a really nice shot still. So I did decide to keep that in my final edits in the selection there. And I do kind of like the composition of the image and the coloring, so I did decide to keep it in, even though it's not in my top 5. This image I quite like. I did turn it into black and white because I felt like it gave it that more of an editorial vibe, I think, overall. But there's a few things about the image that just aren't quite interesting enough for me. And also with the shirt, I think the creases are just annoying me just a little bit too much for me to have it in my top 5. Although I do really like the shot still, and I think Jiang looks great in it. This shot I really like too, and when I first edited it, I thought it was going to be in my top 5, although I did sort of come across quite a few other images where I really felt they were a bit stronger than this one. Although I do really love Jiang's pose, and I do love the street that we shot on, and I love that it's got the palm tree in the background as well. It really gives it that LA vibe. I'm not completely sold on the composition still. I did get quite a few second opinions from different people on the composition, and they all said they liked it. There's just something that's a little bit off for me in this. I probably could have cropped it, but even still, I don't think it would have given me the look that I was completely after. So it's not going to be in my top 5 this week. This photo is actually one of my favorites for the week, and it is going to be in my top 5. Even though the shirt is a little bit creased in areas, I still really love it, and I think it's just such an interesting shot for me personally. Jiang was a really good poser on the day, and I felt like she did so well with that and so well with direction. And I really love this shot because it just looks like she's hailing a cab, but she does look very fashion orientated at the same time. So I love the fact that it's got the palm tree in the background as well. It's really giving it that LA vibe that I wanted, but it kind of does look like a fashion image, and that's what I was after with this shoot. So this one's definitely going in my top 5. This photo is another one of those photos from this week where I was sort of thinking it was going to be in my top 5, but after careful selection of other photos, I feel like it's not going to be. Although I was trying to get a couple of full body shots in there, and I feel like that's all this photo was kind of added in for, to be honest, in the end. I think there's a lot more stronger shots in the selection overall. This photo is going to be in my top 5 this week. It's another one that I converted into black and white. I've actually got a few from this week, and I think it's just a perfect simple portrait of Jiang, and she really wanted to have a shot like this in her portfolio. So we were trying for a little while to get her a shot that was just really simple and was going to be converted into black and white. And I think she looks absolutely stunning in this shot. And I don't know, there's just a really nice simplicity about it that I like. So that's why I'm going to have it in my top 5. Once again, another one of those shots where I thought it was going to be in my top 5, but after I edited a few other images, I felt like there was a few stronger ones. I think this is a really beautiful shot still, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think I could have probably changed up the composition a little bit with this look, but that's all I would sort of want to improve on, I think, in this particular shot. It is a really pretty shot, but not quite the editorial look I was going for. This is another really pretty shot that I love, but very similar to the last shot. I think it's not quite interesting enough for me. It's one of those really pretty ones that I was taking throughout this week's shoot, and doesn't really have the fashion element within it. This photo is going to be in my top 5, and there's just something a little bit different about it compared to the last 2 shots. They're kind of similar, similar compositions and styling and everything else, and with the flowers. But I do like her look a lot more in this shot. I think she's got a great expression, and I really love how she's holding the flowers. I just think there's a little bit more interest in this shot than the other ones, and I do think that it does have more of a fashion element somehow. So I do think that this one is going to be my top 5 this week. This photo is going to be in my top 5 as well, and it's probably not one that a lot of people would choose out of the bunch, but there's something about it for me that I really do like. And I think when I was trying to force myself to pick a fashion-orientated image, because I did struggle with picking the final 5th image in my top 5, and this was the one that was last to be picked. And I was tossing it up between a few others and this one, but I do think I wanted a longer shot. I wanted something that was going to include the pants in the shot as well. And I think that this one really works. Some people might not like the composition that much, but I think I like it overall. And I really like the backdrop as well with the flowers. So I really wanted to have it in my top 5. This photo I feel is really pretty, once again, but unfortunately not going to be in my top 5. I think it's a nice, simple shot, but I personally prefer the other black and white shot over this one, but it's nice, so I decided to add it in anyway. This is going to be my final shot in my top 5 this week, and I honestly picked this photo because I really think it's quite different to the rest of the images, and I think it's still kind of got that fashion vibe in it, and I'm trying to choose some different photos and trying to get photos where models have different expressions to my usual work that I've been having. So I'm trying to put myself out there, like outside of the box, and trying to pick some of those images that are a bit different, and I feel like this is a different image, so it will be in my top 5. And this is the last image for the week. I really think it's a different image, and that's why I decided to add it into my final edits, but it won't be in my top 5. I think there's probably just not enough emphasis on Jiang's face, and she's got a beautiful face, so I really wanted to capture that in a lot of these photos, and I think this one's an interesting pose, but it doesn't really grab me that much, I think, in terms of interest as well. So it's not going to be in my top 5 this week. Hope you really like the photos from this week, guys, and feel free to put down your favorites in the comment section below. So I think the one thing that I could have done better this week was really going ahead and maybe hiring a reflector for a start, and actually having a little bit more equipment, being a bit more prepared for the shoot. I did have a plan to do a video where there were backlit images, and the backlit images just weren't really working for me at that stage. I think the lighting was just really off for where I was and the time of day, and I wasn't able to get that really nice backlit look. And I really feel like if I had been more prepared, if I had a reflector on the day, it would have made the world of difference, and I really would have got those shots. So once again, that comes down to me not being as prepared as I should be, and I probably could have gone and hired a reflector or even just bought one from a local store. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed about that, and I feel like I could have done that better this week. What I think I did really well this week is with directing Jiang, and I really explained to her what I wanted from the photos and how I felt that she should be posing, and I really wanted to get that high fashion editorial kind of look coming out in some of the shots, and she was on point. Like, she nailed everything that I asked her to do, which was amazing. And I feel like it's such a good feeling when you are directing a model and they totally understand what you mean and you're on the same level. And I really felt that happened this week, which was really good for me, because I don't always feel like my communication skills are the best sometimes when I'm directing. So I was really, really happy and pleased that that went well this week. So guys, it is time for me to announce this week's photographer of the week that I have been doing on my last 52-week project video, and I'll be doing them for future weeks as well. Now, these are the guys that do post on primarily Facebook and Flickr in the groups that we've organised for the 52-week project. So if you'd like to be featured on here or have the chance of being featured, feel free to join those groups, and they're in the description box below. So this week's featured photographer is Liana Huot, and she has some amazing shots in the group. I did come across her photos as I was scrolling through. I really wanted to deep dive through a lot of the images that we already have on the group, and I found hers and I thought they were really, really great. They were her week 7 shots. So I'm going to be doing this pretty randomly each week in terms of where I'm featuring the photographers from, whether it's from week 7 or week 6 or whenever, just to give everyone sort of a good chance of getting their work in there. So yeah, Liana's work is really great. I've posted her social media link in the video and also in the description box below, so please go and check out her work. She's doing a really great job with her 52-week project, as are all the people that are involved in the groups on Facebook and Flickr. It's really awesome to see all the work that everyone's producing each week, because it is not an easy thing to do to keep up with a 52-week project. I know I've been struggling at times, definitely with being overseas and traveling, and I'm hoping it's going to get a bit easier soon once I've settled back in at home a little bit more and I will be able to organise more shoots. But rest assured, I do have a bit of a backlog of images coming, so I do actually have a lot of 52-week projects that I'm still yet to release, so you'll see them in the next few weeks. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you were interested in any of the gear that I have, I've put them in the description box below, and be sure to go and check out Liana's work like I said before, and I will see you next time. Bye!